Yes, Jim, it was real unfortunate that our golf course was not in shape that it should have been in, or we'd like for it to be in. But this week it's improved 100%. We only now have only 3 greens that are in bad shape and about 4 fairways. The remainder is in wonderful condition.
Where'd you get the idea to bring the left-handers to the Strand?
Well, actually we got it from the left-handers themselves. They've been coming here for about 5-6 years now for the Carolinas tournament. Carolinas left the tournament, and we started working on the National. And we had a promise it would be here in 71, and the promise was fulfilled.
Looks like South Carolina is going to retire this trophy.
Good possibilities because there are a lot of good left-handed players in South Carolina.
Well, you know, as long as we're going to have it in South Carolina, it's preferable to keep it down here if possible. But just very fortunate that the rains came. We don't know what would have happened today if we hadn't had all this rain.
You ever feel you were at a disadvantage playing left-handed?
No, as a matter of fact, I don't ever think of myself as a left-handed golfer until I get in a tournament like this and I see all these left-handers, and then it looks so funny out there with 300 people on the wrong side of the ball. But left-handers kind of feel like that we swing at it from the right side of the ball, so everybody else is wrong.
So winning is new to you. You've won the South Carolina left-handers every time they've had it, I think, Bob, and you were a fine player at Wofford. But you wouldn't know, not having played right-handed, but do you ever feel the course is set up for right-hand players, courses are built that way?
Well, I think the better golf courses really are to the advantage of a good left-handed player, because most of the better golf courses that I've played are set up to make it tough for a right-handed hooker. And being a left-handed hooker, therefore, you have the advantage because they've gone the other way with it.
Richard, was this a disappointment for you not being able to play today?
Well, it was a big disappointment because these left-handed tournaments, the last round is the round. Every year somebody will get a 5 or 6 stroke lead, and it always comes down to the last couple holes every year. I think 2 years ago, a boy had a 12-stroke lead, and I think he only won by a shot.
You'd have been in a pretty good spot today then.
Oh yes, I think I would. I dreamed I shot 68 last night and bogeyed the 9th hole, and I think I would have been in pretty good shape.
Richard, Charlotte golfers remember your dad when he was professional at Myers Park. Did you play then?
Yes, sir. I started playing golf when I couldn't make the baseball team in high school. And I used to skip school every day, I think, when I was a senior in high school and climb over the fence and go up and play Myers Park.
Well, they hear about that back at Myers Park High School. But did your dad ever try to convince you to play right-handed?
No, he didn't. In fact, I saw a picture of myself when I was 3 years old, and I was hitting it left-handed back then. I didn't play golf, but I was holding it left-handed. So I guess I'm supposed to be that way.
So don't believe the story that golf is not for left.
Haven't played as well in the past few weeks as I'd have liked. Well, I haven't played very much at all, but I like Charlotte here, and I'm looking forward to hoping for a good tournament anyway.
Have you played Marion?
No, I've never been there.
That's a little odd, isn't it?
Well, it's just that the tours never take me that way before, and I've never had a chance to play it off. Well, I've been off the tour. I didn't play Hazeltine before last year either, so maybe there's something in that. I don't know.
What's your attitude toward major tournaments? A lot of players really point for them, for example.
Yeah, of course, it really all depends how you're playing, Jim, really. Some players like to, if I'd been playing very well, I would have probably been tempted to take this week off and gone up there and practice, but it's far more important to have your game in shape when you go to a golf tournament, a major championship, than knowing the course. If you know the course and can't play any good, well, you're not going to do any good anyways.
You were experimenting a little the other day on your swing.
Yeah, I worked hard yesterday on the practice tee. Marty Fleckman was out there watching me a little bit, and I get a little bit lazy when I don't play so much, and I've been home prior to coming here.
Did you hit on anything that'll help you think?
I think so. I think I drove the ball very well today. I was very pleased with the way I drove the ball, and well, as I say, it's a question of getting a good round going, a good start. I think if I can get a good start, then just hold on to it. Often you get depressed if you get off to a bad start, and get feeling sorry for yourself, as we all do sometimes. And so I'm looking forward to tomorrow anyway, when the tournament starts.
we're optimistic. Maybe we shouldn't be, but you know, when you look back in the past over the rookie camps, we've really only had 3 guys that we've ever drafted that ever played in a ball game. So in comparison to that, we're real happy. We've had some guys, McDaniels, Denton, McLean. There's several others. Kemp's look good. Right now it's the 3rd day. We worked a little bit Sunday night. Everybody's a little bit sore. We're trying to find out who can play, who wants to play, and if anybody's tough enough to play.
Are you looking now just for bodies, or are you going to be working to try to fill positions?
I don't think we have a luxury where we could say that we're just that we need a big guard or we need a rebounding forward. I think we need players, and if we end up with 3 guards or a forward surprise us, that anything is what we're looking for.
Are you looking maybe to change the look of the Cougar offense or defense with these players?
Oh, I think basically it's the same thing. What we want to do, we want to win more ball games as far as what we do. I think it'll be a little different. This will be the first time with Denton and McDaniels that we'll be able to maybe do some things inside that we haven't been able to do in the past. Now, those guys are rookies. They're going to be good ball players. As to when, you really don't know. I think both of them will work. It's going to take a little time. They'll get an education in a hurry. They're going to help us, though.
How about your plans for McDaniels? Inside, or is he bested outside?
I don't know. Everybody knows he can shoot the ball. He's proved to me that he's a little tougher than I thought he was. So inside, outside, maybe in between.
Well, Jim, I believe that you have to learn golf from the bottom up, not the top down. And I try to teach the touch system for the golf swing in my book, from a putter into a driver. By doing that, I try to teach the player how to hold the club lightly and develop the feel for a stroke, starting from a putter to a chip to a pitch, and a medium iron, long iron, and then a driver. You develop a feel for the overall swinging action of the club. I just try to describe the simplicity of the pattern of the swing and how the receptive movements of the body take place once you create a larger swing. And as you build your swing, you build a confidence in your swing. You build success patterns. And I feel the best way to develop success patterns in a golf swing are to start from a short swing, develop a larger swing, and develop feel and timing and rhythm as you get into the longer swing.
How does this relate to power and strength in the game, Bob?
Well, speed is power in golf. The strength of your body doesn't change, and the weight of the club doesn't change, and the weight of the person doesn't change. The only thing that changes, Jim, is the speed in which you accelerate the club. But too many people try to accelerate the club and take a bigger swing, never realizing that they're swinging too hard and trying to overpower the ball, and they start missing the ball and they start over-controlling the club because they don't have any success patterns to work with. They don't have a theory. So consequently, they're trying to learn golf from the top down instead of the bottom up. It takes them longer to learn. They get more confused, more despondent, and this is why so many people are having trouble learning how to play the game correctly.
Is this a new concept of yours, Bob?
It's a new concept with me. I don't know if anyone else has ever used this concept, but through the trial and error of teaching, and I've been teaching 15 years, Jim, I found out that you can't teach golf from the top down. You can't learn to play golf from a driver down to a putter. A good, well-coordinated player might be able to do that, but I'm teaching people that are uncoordinated and have very little knowledge of the swing. And I think those are the people that I've got to teach to learn how to play golf.
We would hope to, in the future at Belmont Abbey, is to have a program that our college can be proud of as far as winning games is concerned, and also as far as bringing in dedicated men who are capable of graduating from the school and can be successful citizens in life. And naturally, I'd like to win every game I ever play, if that's possible.
One advantage you have, Bobby, you're certainly no stranger to this area.
Well, this area is very natural to me. As a matter of fact, I even feel like I'm at home here because we have lived in Kings Mountain for several years, been in Appalachian 1 year, and now we're back, and I almost feel like I'm at home.
Mac, you've been through a couple days of rookie camp now. Notice any changes here from what you had in college?
Well, yeah, one is I'm playing strictly forward, so far, and it's a change, getting used to moving and everything. I hurt my leg about 2 weeks ago outside, and it's quite a change playing forward, but I think I can make the transition now.
Do you like the forward position, Mac?
I like it pretty well. I got to get a little more condition. I hurt my leg, and I was in good shape, and that's 2 weeks ago, and now I'm trying to come back and work my way back for the games Friday and Saturday, but I think we'll be ready by then.
How difficult is it to get used to playing with different bodies out there, fellas you probably never played with or even against before until you got here?
Well, it is a change, learning the players and everything, but I think it's going to be easy because all the guys here are good basketball players and knowledgeable at the game, so I think it'll work out real well for us.
You have to be a little quicker here?
Yeah, I think so. You have to be a little quicker because the game is fast, and like we got to get ready for 24 seconds, 30-second clock, and all this, and plus the different rules, two shots, backcourt fouls. You have to be a lot quicker.
How about muscling in underneath? Do you feel a little more freedom, getting to use a little more strength here than you did in college?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great help to Randy and myself and other guys to make it. I think it's going to be a great help because we'll be able to use a little more muscle and we can push back like we couldn't do it in college.
Randy, I imagine this is quite an adjustment now from college ball to trying for the pros.
Yeah, it sure is. We've been practicing 2.5 days now, and it's a matter of endurance, I think, and strength. And I wasn't used to going this hard, when I played at Duke for 4 years, and we're going twice a day, so it's pretty strenuous. Yeah.
What's the toughest part so far?
For me, it's been the rebounding. Some of these big guys, 6'9", 6'10", are such good rebounders. It requires a pretty good effort and a matter of checking them off to get the ball yourself. I think it's much tougher, in pro ball as far as rebounding than it is in college. And I'm not worried about the agility too much. I think I can work on that and get my shot to where it's all right. But later on in the summer, we'll work on weights and stuff like that to build my legs up.
How about the defense? Is it tougher here?
Yeah, it is. The guys are, I think, a little quicker, so you have to kind of bear down a little harder. And once some of these big guys start going to the basket, it's pretty tough to stop. So I think you got to be alert at all times.
How about the physical play? Does this really enter into it more in the pro ball than it does in college?
Not really. I think everybody wants to get the ball off the board, so it's going to be physical anywhere. The main difference is that the guys are just a little bigger and a little stronger, so it's going to be a little more physical. But everybody's out there to fight anyway. I think that's from kids to grown men. So it's rough. I expected it was going to be rough, and it is.
How about the difference in the calling of fouls? You feel maybe you can get away with a little more?
Yeah, well, we scrimmage twice a day, and the officials are letting a lot go, and I think this relieves you somewhat. You feel like you can play a little more freely than you normally would, and just take the ball to the basket, and they're not going to call as many charging fouls as they are blocking fouls. So the wise thing to do is just get the ball and take it to the basket, and usually come out with a basket or a three-point play anyway.
How about the rookies here in the Cougar camp? They look pretty good to you?
Yeah, they really do. I think everybody came in, pretty good shape. Nobody's in top condition, I don't think, because we start the weekend after a little while of scrimmaging. But for the most part, everybody's in pretty good shape, and the guards are real quick and handle the ball real well. And of course, the big men are, well, as far as I can tell, mainly good rebounders.
Willow Creek, the course in which the tournament was played, is there's a lot of trouble on the course. There's water on 17 of the holes, and I stayed in the fairway pretty well and managed to keep out of a lot of trouble and to avoid double bogeys and other such, disasters that really sky your score.
Well, at Wake Forest, you're a member of the golf team there, and of course, I guess your ambition is to become a starter. How has the exposure with such well-known golfers there helped you?
Well, that's really improved my game, I think, being able to play with such great players as Lanny Watkins and Jim Simons and Eddie Pierce, along with, lots of other ones, and just being able to play with them and see how they do the certain points of the game which they do so well, and just being able to learn with them and just play along with them has really helped me a lot, I think.
What are your future goals now in golf, Lex?
I just hope that I'll be able to play well enough to be able to play on the team next year and just continue on playing amateur tournaments the next couple of summers.
I think it is going to help us a great deal. I certainly hope so, because with the teams we have coming in, Ole Miss and frankly, we play Georgia and Georgia Tech every year. We have a real fine schedule. This is probably the finest schedule in the history of Carolina. There's this fall when we open with Georgia Tech, play Georgia in the middle, and end with Clemson. That's about as good as we're going to get.
Well, now that the determination's been made with the ACC, Paul, do you really relish being an independent school?
Well, Jim, I think we've never wanted to be an independent. We didn't plan it that way. But I think you go so long with a situation where you feel that it should be changed, and it's not changed, you have to make a decision. We finally withdrew from the Atlantic Coast Conference. We didn't plan to be an independent. Matter of fact, I have enjoyed very much the people we've known in the Atlantic Coast Conference, and I miss a lot of them. The close conference relationships. Of course, we're going to continue to play them. But I think for the time being, we're going to be an independent. We're not planning at all of joining a conference at the present time.
So we've probably got the finest field that's ever been assembled for a tournament, and I guess it's been 32 years since it's been to Charlotte, and it sure is fine to have such a field for the tournament.
What are you expecting this course to play like? How will it play for these pros and good amateurs?
Well, it's going to play pretty tough. The course only measures about 6,400 yards, but it's actually going to play a lot longer than that, mainly because of the roughs. They've been allowed to grow up a little bit, and the fairways are a little tighter, and you're going to have to hit some good shots here. This is a Donald Ross course, and any of his courses, is how well they're designed. You have to hit the ball extremely well to play well. So we're looking for a fine tournament, and I think an awful lot of fine golf.
What holes do you think will come into play as being maybe the most difficult?
Well, we've got our par threes here are the real key to playing this golf course. We've got number 3, which is around 220 yards, which most of the players will be hitting about a 1-iron on. And it's to an elevated green, and it's going to be pretty tough for them. They're going to have to hit the ball real well there because the green falls both left and right. And if you don't hit it on the green, it's going to roll, maybe 20 or 30 yards down the hill. And then we've got the 11th hole here, which is a par 4, it's just a real great hole. You've got to be extremely accurate off the tee. Most of the players will go with an iron or a fairway wood and try to position the ball off the tee. And then they'll try to hit an iron over to a green that's below them with a ditch in front of them. And it's quite a golf hole. You're going to have to hit it pretty straight there also. The 9th green is one of the great holes in Charlotte, really. It's a par 3, and they'll be hitting about a 2-iron. It's about around 200, 210 yards. And there again, accuracy is real good. It's well bunkered and it's out of bounds around the green. And the 16th hole, they'll be hitting all woods at that one. It's 220 yards over a big ditch, and it's just some real great holes.
Any predictions as to what you think it might take to win here?
Well, normally, we had our program here last year, and we only had 2 scores better than 70, which is par. And really, with the great field that we have, we're going to see some good golf, and I'm looking for about 500 or 600 to win the tournament. About 368 ought to do it.
Billy, first of all, congratulations on winning this junior golf tournament. What's your reaction?
Well, sir, I consider it a big win for me because I've lost all my confidence in my game, and this one here it'll bring it back up. I'm getting ready to try and qualify for the USGA Junior next week, and I think this one's really helped me. It's helped my putting's a little bit better and my chipping's a little bit better, and that's really what I consider the most important part of your game. And I putted real well in this tournament and drove the ball a lot better than what I usually do, and that really helps a lot. So I've gotten a little bit of confidence back, and now I think I'm going to do real well in USGA Junior.
Did you find the course tough at Carolina Golf and Country Club?
Well, the par threes I consider real tough. They're real long, and then a lot of the par fours are tough. As I said, it's a driving golf course. If you drive the ball well and putt well, then you can score well. But the pro at the Country Club got me a exemption in Carolina's Open next week, and I plan on playing in that. So it'll be a little bit longer, but I think I'll do well in that also.
Well, firing 269s, you couldn't have played too tough right now, Billy. What are your future goals in golf?
Well, sir, I don't really know. I don't really want to say, but I'm going to play in as many tournaments as I can, and I hope to get a good scholarship to some school. And if I do, well, then I'm going to try and play in a lot of tournaments there, too.
What's the appeal in trout fishing?
Well, I think the biggest appeal of trout fishing is the fact that for the size, they put up a whale of a fight, and especially when you're fly fishing, you get a thrill you don't get fishing any other way when you toss that fly out and a big rainbow will come out of the water and meet it before it gets to him. It's really a thrill that'll hook you on trout fishing for the rest of your life.
Well, can that happen to a fellow that's never trout fished before, maybe had a little experience with bass or brim?
Sure, it's not hard to do. All you got to do is try to make your fly look like a natural fly over the water, and they'll grab it if you got the right color at the right time.
Is it like bass fishing? Is a certain time of day the best time to fish, water temperature?
Yes, there's a difference in the early morning and late in the evening, when fly or hatch, as they call it, naturally working over the water, where you have better luck fly fishing. And there's different times of the day that they will take a spinner or a bug better than others, and I think a lot of it depends on the water temperature.
Do you have a certain size fly or certain color fly that you like to stick with?
Well, all trout lures are small. They're much smaller than your bass lures, and there's a variety of colors. The color that most old trout fishermen use, they'll see what kind of fly is working the water, and they'll go for that color, and then they keep switching. If they don't bite the color they're offering, they'll switch till they find one they're biting. They definitely will hit a gray one day and a black one another day, and maybe a red one another time, so the color is important.
Well, no, I don't. I'll be talking to some of the fellows in the next few weeks, both here in Charlotte. We've got players like Bobby Shoup and Frank Gombrowski and Johnny Rogers spending the summer in Charlotte. They were, very, very important in our championship drive last year. I'll be talking to them before I get away about their plans for next year. And while I'm in Canada, I'll talk to some of the other fellows. And I expect that we'll be able to go into the opening game with no less than 7 or 8 or as many as 10 players back from last season's club.
You had far and away the best goaltending last year in the Eastern Hockey League. Will this continue? Do you think you'll have McRae and Voss back?
No, that would be an area of concern right now. I think that Gordy McRae will get a real good chance to play in Tulsa. Johnny Voss has been approached by Detroit in regards to playing with their Tidewater Farm Club, and right now I'm working very hard and talking to people in the National Hockey League, even apart from Buffalo, with the idea of getting 1 or 2 goaltenders in case we lose one or both of them.
Now, even though you're working with Buffalo, you still have a recruiting trip planned, right?
Definitely. I'll be going to Western Canada and probably also Toronto and talking to some young hockey players that have already been approached by people who help us out. And as I said, but I'll talk to them myself. And we've received a couple of signed cards back from pretty well-regarded juniors. So things are well on their way. As I said, we're just as far advanced as we were at this time last year.
Well, thanks very much, Jim. Yes, I pitched 3 shutout innings in the All-Star game, and I was real happy to do that because I was kind of wondering myself if I could pitch in the majors again, and I think that just added a little confidence to the way I had been pitching during the year, and I came back with a shutout after those 3 innings, so I hope it keeps improving that way.
Well, Jim, we're just looking forward to the coming season with a lot of enthusiasm. We feel that, again, this year we'll have a good ball club, but we've got some problem spots at offensive line and losing Don McCauley and a little problem in the kicking game, but we feel that with experience that we're going to be all right in the offensive line. I think the whole conference is going to be better, though, Jim. I think the ball clubs are improved in our conference, and you'd have to pick Wake Forest as the champion because they are the champions right now, and they have a large number of boys returning from last year. So it'll be an exciting year in the Atlantic Coast Conference. The schools are going to be better. The teams are going to be better. Clemson, Maryland, Duke, and NC State will all be improved.
How do you feel Ike Oglesby is going to replace McCauley?
Well, Jim, we think that Ike is a real fine football player. It's a little bit different type football player than Don McCauley. Ike has a little bit more speed than Don. Of course, he had a great year last year, and if he can continue to improve the way he has improved, you'll be hearing a lot out of Ike Oglesby.
Well, I know you'll need him because your schedule gets a little tougher.
It does. Anytime you trade VMI for Notre Dame, you know, that's quite a swap.
That's a swing of about 200 points, I think.
It is. And also we have some outstanding outside opponents. Illinois, they've had 3 undefeated freshman teams now, and they've got a new coach and a lot of enthusiasm, so they'll be strong. Tulane, who just completely demolished Colorado in the Liberty Bowl last year, has a large number of those boys returning, and again, they expect a great ball club. We also have Richmond outside of the conference, and they beat NC State in the opener and had Florida beaten down in Gainesville last year, so they have a good ball club. But besides the outside opponents, the whole conference, as I mentioned, will be better.
Your team had a great deal of momentum last year, though, Bill, and that's usually carries over.
That's right. Momentum is a big factor in the game of football. Football is a game of momentum and a game of emotion, and we feel that again, we should be representative and be a challenger for the ACC championship.
Right now, the transition I think that I have to make is the contact that is being made out on the court. And first of all, constantly bumping in and shoving. This is the officials let you play a little bit more freely.
How much more physical do you feel that it is compared to college?
Well, out there, everybody's is something special. They're great guys. They pick nothing but the best, and you're playing against nothing but the best. And like when it was in college, there was only a couple of centers that maybe you ran into almost your size. And like this time, you run into at least 3 guys out there on the court at one time, your size.
Well, you started your college career at Gardner-Webb. They seem to breed some top-notch basketball players. George Adams, one of them. What do you see as a pro prospect for George?
George is a great basketball player. He's really great. And the opportunity that he really needs right now at this point is to get a break from college. Like they win a couple of games and somebody come in and watch him. I think that he'd be picked up. He's a great kid, and he's got a lot of potential and ability.
Terry's got to be a great way to win a golf tournament.
Fantastic. That's the greatest feeling in the world to chip one in like that, for this tournament anyway.
What were your feelings when you were standing over the ball?
I just wanted to get it up and down in two. That's all I wanted to do. But going in the hole is the greatest thing in the world.
You know, you wanted to win this golf tournament. What were your thoughts out there in 15 when you ran into trouble?
Dummy me standing there. All I've got to do is knock it on the green in two and pick up a stroke, and I'm knocking the water. But you never give up and make birdie at 17.
So you come back and you win this one big, and I know you wanted to win this one. What's next?
Oh, I don't know. Rest. I don't know yet. I don't have a tournament planned, I don't think. But I'll be back next year, I guess.
How did the course play today?
Played tough. Really did. It played long, and the greens were dry, and they didn't putt too well. And I didn't play too well either, but I played just good enough to win, I guess.
Keith, it's been a long time between city championships for you, but you come back yesterday on a rather hot day and won another one.
Well, yeah, it was like sort of playing in a brick oven down there. It was hot as it could be. I won it in 1965. I think Norman won it last year. In between, Herb Brown had won a few of them. So I was real happy to be able to win it again.
With you playing Norm and you're playing so much out at Old Providence, it must be like looking in a mirror when you look across the net.
Well, Norm and I have played so much together that when we go out on the court, he knows how I'm going to play him. I know how he's going to play me. And it's just a question of who gets the breaks and usually who gets the break first. And yesterday I happened to break his serve early in the match, so I got on top and was lucky enough to stay there despite the heat.
Keith, I think it was 6-4, 7-5. Do you two normally play this close?
It's always this close. We played in Charleston, and the score there was 7-6, 6-7, 6-4. We played at Old Providence, and I think the score was 8-6, 6-4, and then we played yesterday, and it's 6-4, 7-5. So it's a close match. Just depends on who serves the best, usually. I've been real fortunate. The last two times I've played him, I haven't lost my serve a single time, and that's been the difference in the two matches.
Well, I think one of the most important factors really for the kids to learn is the ability to play with their friends and the other boys and to get along with them. I mean, they learn something in golf from competing that I don't think they learn in any other sport or in the school books or any place else in life. And in fact, that's a big problem in our country today. I think getting along with other people is one of the main, and this is a basic good thing about this.
Are there any particular rules that maybe young golfers should be aware of above others?
Well, they should learn to play by the rules. I think that's one of the real weaknesses maybe, in that the kids learn to swing and don't learn etiquette or rules, and this makes it painful to the older players and discourages them getting the benefits they should get out of golf, because a lot of clubs don't let them play at a certain hour just because they really don't know the rules. But that's one good thing about the program you've got here. They are trying to learn the rules and the etiquette, and I know it'll be more pleasurable for the older people to play at the clubs with them, and this is important.
Yes, sir, about every day, and I get phone calls, 25 a day, it's just fantastic.
What are you thinking now? Is you change your thinking about the future in golf any?
No, sir. I just wanted this big win. You know, this will help me. This will give me a lot of confidence. Go out and compete more, I guess.
Well, Terry, for your winning, which we feel is an outstanding achievement in sports in Charlotte, and we've adopted a new feature here on the scene tonight. We're very proud to name you as the Sportsman of the Week in Charlotte last week and present you with this certificate.
Well, thank you very much. I feel quite honored to get this award. This really means a lot to me.
What's the rest of the summer now for you, Terry, in golf?
Well, I've got one or two more member guest tournaments, and I might play in the Carolinas Classic. It's not definite yet. And then go back to school in the fall, I guess.
Bones McKinney. What else, I suppose? Jerry Steele. Jerry's a great guy and a fine young coach. I hope he does real well with the team this year. Jim Gardner, certainly the man that brought them here, is a class type man. He's first class type man. The big wins when we could beat Indiana here in Charlotte and when we beat Virginia here last year, but particularly those fans that gave us that loyal support.
How about in the future, Francis? You feel like this could be the year that they're definite contenders?
No. You ask me, I'll be honest with you, no. I'm afraid that McDaniels is 2 or 3 years away, and I think Randy Denton is going to be a real asset to the ball club. McLean is a question mark. Caldwell's knees are question mark. If Cunningham comes, I think they could be a contender. But, of course, the courts have to decide that. But if the fans stay with them, I think eventually, over the long haul, they'll put a winner here.
Ivan, what was your initial reaction in winning the meet at Decatur, Alabama?
Well, I didn't really think I was going to win it until my very last dive when I really drilled the dive for 7s and 8s.
Well, how is it finally decided who wins? What procedure do you have to follow?
Well, nobody really knows until the very end, and then when they add up all the scores.
And how many dives do you make?
Well, we do 8 in one day.
Mm-hmm. Well, now you dive in the 3 meter and the 1 meter. How do the two differ?
Well, 1 meter, some dives are harder and some dives are easier. And in 3 meter, you take your time a lot more than in 1 meter because you have to slow most of the dives down. And then, but when you get into optionals, a lot of them you have to speed up because a lot of them are so difficult.
Well, Ivan, for your efforts last week, you've been selected as the WBTV Sportsman of the Week, and we'd like to present you with this certificate.
Well, thank you very much. I didn't really expect this.
You have some impressive rookies, as you've already mentioned. One, Jim McDaniels. Do you feel the crowds this year will expect too much from him in his first season?
Jim, I suppose so. When you have as much advanced publicity as McDaniels has had, you know, the money that was paid to him, or the controversy with Utah, all the publicity that he received while he was in college, the All-American status that he's enjoyed for 3 years, a lot will be expected of Jim. He's a very strong individual, personality-wise and emotionally. I think he's going to be able to withstand that. He's a great leader, a great person. He's going to have to learn a great deal. The pro game is a lot different than what he's used to been playing in college, but he's a tremendous athlete with a lot of talent, a lot of desire. He's big, he's strong, he can run. I think he's capable of meeting the pressure and learning very, very quickly. We look for him to give us a great lift very, very early in the season.
Yes, sir. I hurt my foot in the very first game, the first play at Burke County, and I ran into the second baseman. And so I went from center field. I started the game in center field, so I had to go to right field because I couldn't maneuver enough in center field. So I had to play right field. And then the next game, I played first base, and then the last game I pitched.
Of course, when you pitch, that must be a memorable occasion for you.
Yes, sir.
It's a no-hitter, and because of that no-hitter and the fact that you came back from a minor injury, you have been selected as the WBTV Sportsman of the Week for your efforts last week.
Thank you a lot. I appreciate it.
Well, I think one of the things I'd like to do is take advantage of the history of Charlotte as one of the greatest basketball towns in the United States. I would like to put pro basketball up on this level. I think the Carolina Cougars have a great deal to offer people in this area, particularly with the additions that they've added to the squad this year. And I look for a real building program here in Charlotte with professional basketball.